Hello Bishes, welcome back to my channel. Today's draw with me is going to be a little bit different. I am actually going to be drawing my cats as humans. So today, Moon Pie and her sister Bon Bon, who, you know, wants to be left alone in her room, is not here right now, but maybe I'll get her by the end of this video. But I've always wondered what my cats would be like as human characters. So I wanted to just sketch them out in my sketchbook. So let's get sketching my cats as humans, and feel free to draw your cats as humans too, and I would be interested in seeing them. If you have a cat or dog or whatever pet you have, I've always wanted to see, you know, other people's pet personas. So yeah. So for those of you who are new to this channel, this is a sketchbook that I got from Nara Park in Japan, hence the deer, and it is an accordion styled sketchbook, meaning that you have two sides to the entire sketchbook, because when you pull it out it's like a whole accordion. But we'll see if by the end of my sketchbook journey with this sketchbook, if I feel like drawing on the whole other side. But you know, because we are gonna try to be environmentally friendly, I'm gonna challenge myself to do that. But anyway, for those of you who are also unfamiliar with the way I work in sketchbooks, one thing that I always tend to do is start in the middle of the sketchbook, because it relieves a lot of the pressure of making that first page a beautiful cover page, and I feel like that's what gives a lot of artists some sort of paralysis whenever we start new sketchbooks, because you're just like, oh shit, it's a fresh new first page. How am I going to make this look beautiful? But what happens is whenever you start working on a sketchbook, by the middle of it, you kind of get more loose and messy anyway, and you tend to give less shits by the middle of it. So I'm just like, hey, why not just start in the middle of it? Because it takes away the pressure, and who's gonna care by the middle of this sketchbook if what I first drew in it looks nice or not? Because it's kind of like a portfolio. You end strong and you start strong, but the middle part is all whatever. So, like I said, today we will be drawing my cats as humans, and we will be starting off with Moon Pie, who is, I feel, the more social and cuddly and friendly and somewhat extroverted kitten of the sisters. And I'm going to be using a yellow colored pencil from the Utrecht colored pencils, RIP, good luck to finding them because they're extinct. And the reason why I start off with a light colored pencil is because it adds a nice rough underlayer to your finished drawing, and I'm just going to start off with laying her sketches around the spread so I kind of know how to fit in the other drawings later, instead of just compacting them on one side and then working off to the other. Like, that way works too, but I want to, you know, make sure that I kind of have some nice composition. So I'm just going to have her distributed on random parts of the spread so that, you know, it's not too one-sided. So my boyfriend and I adopted the kittens back during Memorial Weekend of this year, and I'm just going to keep this pretty short, but let's just say a certain event led us to adopting the kittens, and you know, it turned out to be a very pleasant surprise for this quarantine, because originally we were planning to go travel to Norway, and I was really looking forward to going on that trip, but you know how life just likes to throw curveballs at you, and instead of going on a $5,000 vacation, I ended up with just 2 lifelong commitments, and you know, I'm not mad about that. So ever since I was little, I've always wanted a furry 4-legged friend, and eventually we got my dog Dash, who is a Maltese, and it was a compromise because my parents are actually allergic to non-hypoallergenic dogs and cats, so I pretty much was not allowed to ever get a cat during my childhood. But I do remember memories of my 4-year-old self screaming at my grandma, being like, "Ma you go ma," which means like, I want a cat in Cantonese, and my grandma would just be like, "Bitch, you don't even fucking know the responsibilities." But whatever, I have one now and we're all good. And I don't just have one, but two lovely little girls. So the one that I'm outlining right now is Moon Pie, and she is definitely more of the cuddle bug of the sisters. She is more, I guess, the one that would really want to snuggle up with you when you're working, or she just wants your attention whenever you're just doing something. And you know, I kind of really enjoy it. I feel like most people would find it annoying or be like, oh my god, you're like a desperate ass dog. But the ironic thing is when I got my dog Dash, I feel like his personality is more like a cat, because he's more like, leave me alone, bitch, let me nap, oh my god, don't touch me. Or he's just more aloof sometimes because he's an independent little bish. But Moon Pie definitely, out of all the pets I've had, acts more like a pet that really craves for your affection. So I feel like at first when I met her, she was kind of feisty because she would hiss at us and be like, fuck you bitches. But I mean, it's understandable because she and her sister were strays and they were found under a vehicle, which makes me really sad when I say it now. But you know, things have turned out for the better for them, especially now that they are under my and my boyfriend and my sister's care. So they kind of have like 3 people taking care of them and giving them the love and attention that they need. But because Moon Pie is kind of feisty but also cute and cuddly, I wanted to give her a very cute round face that looks exactly like her face as a cat. Her eyes are also super round, so I didn't want to give her some overly sharp eyeliner that makes her like overly fierce, because she's really not that fierce, but she might be when you first meet her. So I wanted to give her that like a little bit of a crazy, more raspy hair look, but I wanted to maintain that cuteness in her face because, I don't know, that's just the vibe that she gives me. Throughout the spread, I'm pretty much just playing with like different designs. If I like the face and how it's been going, I'll just keep it consistent throughout the other sketches. But things like the hair, I feel like I can always play around with, which is why she might have the same face, but her hair and clothes might be different, because I feel like there's still more room for exploration in those areas. But that's why I try to not stay too committed to one design whenever I'm just sketching in my sketchbook. It's not a rendered drawing. It's not a signature to the contract with the devil or anything like that. A sketchbook is kind of just a place for you to just explore ideas, experiment with one concept more than one time. Because one thing I do find annoying is whenever I used to draw as a teenager, I used to be like, this is the official drawing. Whatever I lay down on this page is the official deal. Like, there is no turning back. But it's like, no, girl, you can draw more than one thing of the same thing and see which one works for you. You can experiment, and that is the point of a sketchbook. So Moon Pie is also kind of cute, but also not that ladylike in my opinion, or whatever the meaning of ladylike even means nowadays. But she's definitely the type that I feel like would sit with her legs wide open. She'd be the child that your old typical Asian traditional mother would be like, close your legs when you're sitting and eating at the table. But no, she'll just spread her body out and do whatever. She kind of just sleeps shamelessly in whatever position that she wants to, and you know, we can all learn from that. So the name Moon Pie and her sister's name Bon Bon are actually originally from the shelters, and it's funny because I used to think, oh, I already have these cat names brought up in my head and I'm ready to name them that name. But I really learned that when you have a pet, you kind of just have to let them live up to the names that they're given. And I feel like this was just a perfect match, and that the shelter gave them the perfect names for who they are, because Moon Pie is kind of just like, she's like a moon pie. She's indulgent. She loves her sweets and snacks and whatever. And I just also like the word moon because, ironically, before I got the cats, we were on a stargazing trip, and it was on the night of a new moon, and we never stopped talking about the new moon. And when I saw a cat named Moon Pie, I was like, shit, the stars have aligned. So that was one of the reasons why Moon Pie kind of appealed to me. And in addition to that, I read that they make air biscuits, and I was just like, all right, the deal's done. And Bonbon, on the other hand, has a swirl on her body, and that's why she's called Bonbon, but I just feel like there's just more of a sophisticated, yet simple, yet cute name. For some reason, every time I hear the word Bon, I just think of a bonnet, so I think of a very proper lady, and for some reason that kind of fits her. But we also enjoy calling her Bonavere to add that extra sophistication, but for the times that she acts silly, we'll just call her Bonk. So yeah, the names ended up working out super well, and Bonbon is like the opposite of her sister, but in that aspect, they really complement each other because Bonbon is definitely more of a cool, chill kind of chick, and she definitely is more aloof. She kind of does remind me more of my dog Dash, so maybe they'll really get along together. She is affectionate, but not as affectionate, and kind of has her own love language that isn't the basic, I'm gonna come up next to you and snuggle. She'll do it through other ways, like really wanting you to pet her specifically while you're taking a shit in the bathroom, and she'll just go crazy whenever you're in the bathroom and you're in this enclosed space together. She really loves intimacy when it's really intimate. So, you know, I can kind of relate to that, so I do really relate to Bon. Bon is also the type to really enjoy her wet food more than her sister, but ironically that wet food is more pricey, but you know, that's the price you pay for trying to keep your cats healthy, because I do try to keep them on a healthier diet, which does, you know, make that wallet hurt a little bit more, but you know what? I think that's a great investment for a pet's health, is their diet. That's one of the least things you can do for them if you can afford it. So because Bon loves wet food more than her sister, I made her just kind of sophisticatedly drinking a coffee or a latte, because maybe in the cat world that's what this wet food is to them. So I'm using blue and pink to color and shade Bon because she is definitely more of a cooler toned color than her sister, who tends to be more on the warm yellowish mustard brown side. But for the sake of this spread, we're going to be using kind of complementary colors, where Moon Pie is kind of more orangey red and Bonbon is more blue, and those colors, you know, if you look at the color wheel, they are right across from each other, just like how these sisters are together in their relationship. And even though Moon Pie is very conventionally cute and cuddly, Bon is just more weird, but she has her ways of being special. And Bon, I feel like if she were a human, would be very avant-garde. She would be very experimental. She might even be an artist, do some sort of dancing, maybe ballet, or some sort of art that allows her to express herself, because she loves twisting her body in all these unique shapes and forms, and she really loves to hide in very special places that really no one else would really want to hide in, but you know, an artist needs their little artist cave. So because of that, I'm making her hide in her scarf in this drawing, because I feel like she's more of the type that's like, don't look at me, let me just produce my work. And the reason why I gave her a scarf is because she has that little tuxedo thing, and I just converted that in real life to maybe a white scarf. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of converting my cats to humans. So that is pretty much the spread. I'm going to go back in and lightly shade them in the areas that, you know, could have a little oomph. So I'm going back and shading Bon in a light pink color because I don't really want to take away from the line drawing. I want the line drawing to be what still stands out. So be sure to choose a shade color that won't compete with what you just line arted it with. And Moon Pie, I'm just going back with a light orange shade that it's probably about 3 shades lighter than what I actually line arted her in. And then around them, I'm just giving them some glow with the color pencil. I actually use this a lot in my CalArt sketchbook, so it was very nostalgic for me to be doing a sketchbook in this style again. So that is pretty much the spread of my cats as humans. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one, so stay wholesome, bitches.